Hi, so this video is about vectors in 3D. If you watched my previous vectors, which are mostly focused on 2D vectors, then you should be pretty solid with this whole concept of 3D vectors. So let's look at this graph here. Here, instead of having two axes, x and y, making up a plane, we have three axes, x, y, and z, making up a space. So here we have our x component for the vector v over here in red. Here's our y component, and here's our z component. So let's just jump right into it. This problem is asking us to add the vectors 173 and 812. This is the exact same as adding 2D vectors, so we just have 1 plus 8 is 9, 7 plus 1 is 8, and 3 plus 2 is 5. This problem is asking us to multiply the vectors 173 and 812, and we could just take the dot product, same thing. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 times 2 is 6. This is just equal to 21. Alright, so here we have project the vector v, 172, onto the vector w, negative 1, 8, negative 5. We're going to graph this so that it's easier to visualize. Here's our z-axis, x-axis, and y-axis. V, I'll do this in red, is 172. So 1, 7, and then 2 up. Looks something like this. And w is negative 1. I'll extend each of these axes by a bit. So I'll do w in yellow. So negative 1 here, 8, let's say here-ish, and negative 5. So this goes a bit under. And we want to project v onto w. Now if you watched my previous video, this is just the same formula. All right, we have the projection of v onto w is just the dot product of v and w over magnitude of w squared times the vector w. So we can plug in our vectors. We have projection v onto w is just 172 times negative 1, 8, negative 5 over magnitude of w. We can use Pythagorean theorem again. W is equal to, or I'll do squared, is equal to negative 1 squared plus 8 squared plus negative 5 squared. Square root of all this, and then square all of it, because vector w squared is equal to 1 squared plus 64 plus 25, which is just 26 plus 64, which is 90. So this is all over 90, times our vector w, which is negative 1, 8, negative 5. So the dot product of 172 and negative 1, 8, negative 5 is negative 1 plus 56 minus 10 over 90 times negative 1, 8, negative 5. And this is just 56 minus 11, you could say, which is 45 over 90 over negative 1, 8, negative 5. And this simplifies pretty neatly, as 45 over 90 is just 1/2 of negative 1, 8, negative 5, which is just negative 1/2, 4, and negative 5 halves. And yeah, this is a projection. This problem is just asking us to find the angle between 165 and 82, negative 1. If you remember from my first video, we can rewrite the dot product as the magnitude of v times the magnitude of w times cosine theta, which is the angle in between the vectors v and w. So we can rearrange this. We have cosine theta is equal to v times w over v or magnitude of v times magnitude of w. So now we can find what theta is. Theta is just arc cosine or inverse cosine of v times w over dot product of v, over the magnitude of v, the magnitude of w. So dot product of v and w would just be 8 plus 12 minus 5, which is equal to 15. And I'll just box this. We have v, which we'll call this first vector. Magnitude of this is just square root of 1 plus 36 plus 25, which is the square root of 62. And the magnitude of vector w is just square root of 64 plus 4 plus 1, which is the square root of 69. So here we can simplify this to be theta is equal to arc cosine 15 over, I believe this is square root of 4 to 7, 8. And we can plug this into a calculator to